Shalom. First of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruach Kodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutation to all sincere Achim. They're, of course, risking their lives and their freedom to bring out this Amath, which is the truth of the scriptures. I'm the brother Mathpa from Great Millstone, Plain Tables Camp, located here in Great Babylon, which is America, coming again with another lesson due to Ruach Kodash, which is the Holy Spirit, which we have it here off of this particular website, Standard Digital, and it reads: Satanic Temple unveils statue of goat god Baphomet outside of U.S. government building. So you have it here, which you can see in the image. You have, of course, these Edomites. They erected this statue of this god Baphomet, which a lot of these Satanists worship. Of course, also in the Hollywood industry, they take these different Baphomet oaths, signing their name in blood. They, of course, have to worship Satan just to receive fame on this side. And what you have to understand is that the so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, meaning he's the deceiver. Of course, also, he's Satan, which is the enemy and adversary. And you have a so-called white man who doesn't believe in the Lord. You have these Edomites, which that's what the nation that the so-called white man comes from, Edom, which Edom means Adawam in the Hebrew, which means red. They're showing exactly whom they worship, which through their power on the left-hand side, they, of course, perpetuate all wickedness. Slack here, you have, of course, Satan messing with the actual page, having it reload or something like that. Let me see if I can get it to stop, but it reads on. It says, Satanic worshippers have celebrated the unveiling of a demonic statue of goat-headed creature with wings outside of the government building in U.S. Members of the Satanic Temple brought an 8.5-foot tall carving of Baphomet, an occult goat man hybrid. So you have here this particular idol, which is this have it here. You got the different pentagrams and such. All right, I believe Baphomet is androgynous, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you can go into your research in this particular demon, which they worship. All right, going on, it reads, it says, to the grounds of Arkansas State Capitol building in Little Rock, Little Rock, which is in Arkansas or Arkansas. Slakia for the mispronunciation. It says the winged monster sits on the throne in Basilan with the pentagram, which I just noted. Alongside a child gazes adoring up at the man with the gold head. The striking statue was part of a rally outside of the state's seat of government in a protest at a Ten Commandments monument already installed in the grounds. But you have to understand the so-called white man is against all that is holy, which is Kodash. They are against, of course, the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, which was given by the way of Mashah or Moses to the nation of Israel. All right, in particular to the Bunyam or the sons of Israel. It says, and that's Mount Seir says, it has now been taken away, but Satanic Temple have filed a lawsuit to have it reinstated in the name of religious pluralism in the First Amendment. So, of course, they're using different the First Amendment rights to put up these different things as a right of protest. You have it here, like images here saying separate church and state. Okay, it says the display prompted protests from Christian activists, which, the only Christians, they could be only Israelites. You know, you can read that in, I believe, the book of Acts. It says the Satanic Church, who have chapters across the globe that campaign for religious freedom, claim they wrote to the state legislators to ask the Baphomet statue to be allowed. You have it here. It says, speaking to rally, Lucian Greaves, spokesman and co-founder of the Satanic Temple, said the event, intended to be an inclusive gathering where Satanic Temple will be celebrated pluralism among with Christian and secular speakers. People of many faiths will come together at the Capitol to reject Arkansas state legislative efforts to privilege of one religion over others. It says the Ten Commandments Monument was first put up last year after a bill sponsored Republican Senator Jason Rapper was passed. So they basically saying if y'all can put up that, we can put up this, because of religious freedom and such here in this country. But this is just all of wickedness. When they putting up these different idols and such. Which it just shows who so-called white man whom he does worship anyway. This is them claiming they're Christians and such. When you go into the history, the forefathers of this country, they're different Masons. They're just nothing but witches and warlocks and such. It says Mr. Rapper issued a statement on Facebook saying no matter what these extremists may claim, it will be a very cold day in hell before an offensive statue be forced upon us to be permanently erected on the grounds of Arkansas state capitol. So they want to put this particular Baphomet statue permanently. And right now they just have it there because they can protest, but they want to erect it permanently for First Amendment rights and such. It says our rights to build a monument were exercised through the electoral and legislative process and have been upheld by the judicial system. It says they are no less sacred than the freedoms of Shu Phil, for whom legal and political rights are merely method to fleece gullible and entertain the cynical. It says due process was followed to the letter of the law, and the Secretary of State and the Capitol Arts and Ground Commission held a series of open public meetings to gather the input on placing the Ten Commandments Monument. Alright, it says here some facts about Satanists. You can read that, of course, on your own. They're just against the Most High Yahweh Shem Al Shai. You're the enemy. That's what Satan is. Simple as that. Enemy or adversary. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to get into some scriptures. This is going to be Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, and actually it's going to be verse... see where I got it. I'm going to start here at verse 1. It says, moreover, the word of Yahweh, that's the Lord of the Bible, the Lord of the nation of Israel, the Almighty, that's his name, Yahweh, which means he exists in the Hebrew. That's his pure name. It says, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And who's that? That's the Edomites, all right? Because that's the land where they dwelt at. All right, Mount Seir, all right? Which you can go and read it. And say unto them, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. So the Lord, of course, is against you Edomites, all right? It says, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Alright, so the Lord is against you Edomites, and it's all throughout the Bible. You can of course read the book of Obadiah, particularly addressing Edom. These Edomites are going to get a recompense for all of the different wickedness they have done upon the earth. It says, reading in verse 5, it says, because thou hast a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel, which that's the children of Israel, is so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans, by the force of the sword, and in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. You being the Most High's wicked whooping stick, when of course our iniquity can't had an end, you of course furthered the affliction. That's another a precept Let me see if I can possibly get it. Further affliction. If it don't come up, I may have to just get in another lesson. But Abaratazai comes up. Let me see. There. I think it's like, it says like come to an end. Let me see. Let me just see. Let me see what comes up. Give me one moment. Not sure if this is the actual precept that I want. Yeah, this isn't a precept that I want, but you could, of course, Akim, you can look up the precept on your own. Salakia for at the time. But I'm just going to the spirit power Yahweh Shai. But the Lord is definitely against you damn Edomites. All right, simple as that. All right. Now I'm going to go to my next precept, which is going to be in the book of Isaiah, and it's going to be, let me see, let's just start at 12. It says, Isaiah 14:12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut to the ground? Whence didst weaken the nations? And of course, that Lucifer means black beard, just so that you know. That's a so-called white man. All right, simple as that. Okay, because the elites, they call themselves the enlightened ones, the Illuminati. Okay, you have to understand there. A lot of people got it mixed up when they talk about that war in heaven and such. That's a future prophecy going into when Yahweh Shai and the host of the angels come and fight. Of course, you got like Esau got his air force and such. They're gonna try to fight you against Yahweh Shai, and the angels. But that whole thing about devil getting kicked out of heaven and stuff. That's all a thing of a falsehood and such. All right, as I have said, and many of course brothers have broken down. Slakia, the devil, he works, of course, or Satan, the devil, the spiritual demon, he works for the Most High, which that's in Job. I noted that in one of my last lessons, actually. But anyway, going on in this precept, actually. So it says right here, verse 13, where thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of the power. I will sit also on the mountain of congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and I will be like the Most High. That's what the so-called white man, of course, is doing. Putting up all these different idols and such. He's basically showing himself as being that damn demon. All right, simple as that. Going on, it says, let me see. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the grave. All right, and of course into that fiery pit, which is going to be the nuclear fire. To the sides of, it says, to the sides of the pit. All right. I'm just going to skip now to another precept. It's, just to back up some more things. This is going to be Revelations 18 and 5. It says, for her sins have reached unto the heaven, and the power hath remembered her iniquities. All right. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, in the cup in which she hath filled to her double. And that's what the so-called white man is going to receive. Babylon the Great, is going to be destroyed through fire. All right, through all of the wickedness they have done. All right, simple as that. You see them putting up the different idols and all of that. because that's who they actually serve. The so-called white man serves these different idols such as Baphomet, these different gods and such, pushing their homosexuality and all of that. All right, so this is going to be the book of 2 Thessalonians. I'm going to go down to the point, and it reads here. It says 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. It reads, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first." That's of course what the nation of Yashala, of course us falling, as a nation, 70 AD going into it, you go into the history and such. All right, when the Romans besieged us and such, it says, "In that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." All right, perdition, I believe, means destruction. All right, when you go into it, and that's the so-called white man, where you go into it, Esau, Edom. Okay, I'm gonna just go into this word right here in the Greek, just real quick. And this is here, it reads opole, or opola le Sorry if I got the mispronunciation, but it says destruction, utter destruction. So just on point, of course, breaking things down. You gotta break down this Bible rightly and correctly and directly. Okay, that's why we study to show ourselves approved. Okay, it says, reading on, it says, verse 4, this is, I believe, the point. It says, "Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called the power." Who does that? That's the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. "Or that is worship, so that he, as God, or as a power, sitteth in the temple as God, of God," Slakia. And it says, showing himself that he is God. And that's what the so-called white man does. All right, but he shows himself easily, with this whole setup. Simple as that. Especially when they go erect these different statues and such, which that's what they openly want to do anyway. I mean, there's idols everywhere when you go into it. So just because they ain't have a permanent statue of Baphomet up, don't think that idols are not up. They're everywhere. These different gardens and such. You go about, you see these different idols everywhere. When you go downtown and such, in the different cities and such. All right. Now remember, it's just gonna go on. So verse 5, it says, "Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and know ye now what withhold, that he might be revealed in his time." In that time, he being, of course, revealed now. All right, it says, "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let," and that's the Most High, "until he be taken out of the way." And that we in that time, of course, the devil, of course, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, this whole system, the beast system, of course, is being taken out of the way, because this destruction is very close. All right. So this is one last scripture. This is going to be 2 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter. I'm going to start at the 3rd verse. It says, "But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost." All right. So the gospel is the good news, salvation for, of course, the nation of Israel. All right. Esau is going into slavery. We're gonna beat him for 1,000 years. Of course, these heathens are gonna be in slavery and captivity. They're made, of course, to be servants under us. All right, Jacob is the the beginning of the world that followeth. Esau is the end of the world. That's the good news. All right. Yahweh Shai coming back. A kingdom that dwelleth righteousness. All right. Going on, it says, verse 4, it says, "In whom the power of this world hath blinded the minds of them that which believeth not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the power, should shine unto them." All right, so that the true gospel is hid, to this whole, this world basically being 2/3 of the world. All right, which is the nation of Israel, And of course, you know, the rest of the heathen, they of course can't receive none of this truth anyway. You know, Esau is profane anyway. You know, so you know, simple as that. You know, I just went through the spirit, did a lesson. You know, hopefully you're edified. All right, satanic temple unveils you know, the statue of Baphomet. You know, up. That's what the so-called white man wants to do anyway. He does anyway. So it doesn't surprise me. With that, I'm gonna say, call Halayim La Yahweh Shem Shai Ba Shem Chakodash and double honor to those apostles that great Millstone. Shalom.